So your comment was that this concept of belonging can be an oppressive one, but is it something that is necessary when we talk about Singapore, not the city, but Singapore, the city-state or the country? So would you just have a little argument for 2 minutes, please? Prof. DS Siddiq, why don't you kick off? Because I'm sure you were dying to, and then Prof. Ho can respond. DS, to his comment about possibly straining into the point of being oppressive when we talk about belonging, national identity, defining who a Singaporean is, which is actually a top voted question. But I'll give that person the chance to have his or her question read out later. So have an argument.
No, not really an argument, because I thought it's a sound reminder that it's very dangerous if we make this a yes or no question about do you belong or do you not belong?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's not that, you know. Yeah. I think a sense of belonging or even a sense of identity is it's a textured concept. You know, there are a lot of different aspects of feeling like you belong, but maybe there's just something else that it doesn't resonate with you. But that's fine. You recognize it as something that's important to other people, for example. That in itself can be a shared value. To value diversity can be a shared value. You know, so I don't think the two are necessarily like opposing ideas. I'm sorry to let you down, not a fight here. But how do we then engender that? Because that is very challenging. How do you know where you draw the line? I mean, in the example that Prof had cited, neighbourly disputes because of differences in practices, day-to-day practices, where you hang the laundry, can you hang your lap chong outside your house, you know, things like that. It comes to nitty-gritty things that cause people to feel like you're intruding on my space, but is that the line that needs to be enforced, or is that something that should be negotiated? Right. I thought Prof talked about it being negotiated, which is exactly if you recall my 3-stage process, you have a choice. When you have a neighbor who is hanging the lapchong outside and it's really smelly, you have a choice in terms of how you belong.
Swordfish. Lapchong is not
so
is quite okay, right? Pungent. Please.
You have a choice of how you behave in that situation to have a conversation that allows a value of, I recognize diversity, but there's also neighborly friendliness and mutual respect that is also important. Can we have a conversation about it? So I think that is where I think we would like to have a greater understanding in terms of how different things can sit together and not necessarily in opposite, it needs to be in a fight for that.
So you're prepared to accept a more expansive view of belonging. So Prof. Ho? No argument here.
No, you're being naughty here. we are actually
trying to get more
agreement.
Views, I see.
We're in agreement, because if you look at my slide 2 and 3, I actually talk about the different ways in which identity and belonging is built. But what I want to say is that sometimes this narrative of belonging also runs against, the reason why people are attracted to cities in the first place, and this idea of freedom and also creativity that comes from freedoms is also important. So I'm just basically laying out 2 sides to this issue of belonging versus freedom.